evening. I'd like to call the April 10th voting session of the Keystone Central School District Board of Directors to order. Please stand for flag salute. And a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Baldino,
Here.
Mr. Cannon, Ms. Donahue,
Here.
Mr. Elling,
Here.
Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Knopf,
Here.
Ms. Lynch,
Here.
Mr. Scap,
Here.
Ms. Smith, here,
Stereo.
8 members present.
Thank you. First up is the Bucktill Middle School, High School Student Council. Kata, Martin.
So we have another slideshow. This is our theme now. So this is our upcoming and recent events. So I think it was, when was this? It was last week, I think. We did a tree planting and trash pickup with the DCNR with the ecology class and environmental club. We went up on top of Eagleton and planted the trees there. We learned about the American chestnut tree and its near extinction in the US because of the introduction of chestnut blight from the Chinese chestnut trees. We planted some hybrid trees that were crossbred between the American chestnut and Chinese chestnut trees, along with some other more native species. And then this week on Tuesday, the ecology class took a trip to Robb Elementary, and we presented our presentation, which was similar to the one that we presented here at the board. We presented to the first graders at Robb. They were just finishing up learning about fossils, and Mr. Day and Mr. Barth thought that it would be a good kind of tie-in and then get them on board and informed about our efforts. And then that same day, just before we went to Robb Elementary, we went to 92.1 and we did a profiles and education interview. This is kind of an important, go back one. This is kind of an important step in our PR campaign for this. We need to convince some of our local legislators to sponsor a bill to change the state fossil. So this is a good way for us to get the message out, because there's a lot of people listening to the radio right about that time in the morning going to work. So it was a kind of a different experience for most of us, I think. And then the Game Commission has some events planned with us. So a few weeks ago, the ecology class and environmental club participated in building birdhouse structures. I think that pictures were posted on Facebook. Okay, so the next slide there. They have plans for building bat boxes in the future, so we'll see how those work out. And then on April 28th, the ecology class and environmental club are going to Bald Eagle State Park, and we will lower fish habitat structures into the water. These structures were built by the shop students here at Central Mountain. And then the 7th grade poetry reading, the 7th grade class presented their poems they wrote to the Renova Elementary School and showcased the hard work they've been doing in Mrs. Miller's class and Mrs. Hockman's class. And then Bucktail will host our very first home baseball tournament. This will include Canton, Sugar Valley, and Northern Potter. And that will be Saturday, April 12th at 10:30.
Upcoming is the softball season, and our question is, will they three-peat? The Bucktail softball team aims for a third straight District 4 championship, starting off their season with a 3-3 record. The softball and baseball team is helping with the opening day ceremony for the Renovo Little League this weekend. And for the rewards in March, we had a March Madness Reward Day. Students could watch the basketball tournament, play basketball, and many more activities. The seniors received a treat for having the least amount of referrals for March. The elementary mentor program process has been going very well. The program creates a role model and someone to strive to be like when the elementary kids are older. The art club has started a waterscape mural to go on the medical annex building in Renovo. This will be done in time for the mural of the heron that was painted by the artist Arcee. Our prom theme for this year was Meet Me at Midnight. The PBIS club has provided rewards for people that get drawn out of like a bucket with their names on it. They got tickets for like good behavior. The rewards for week 1 was Buffalo Chicken Dip. Week 2 was Dunkin' Donuts. Week 3 was ordering lunch from the local Pop Pops place. And week 4 was the McDonald's gift card. There are 7 weeks in total. If your ticket doesn't get pulled, it can have another chance to be drawn at the end of the 7 weeks. There are prizes to win like a TV, Beats headphones, or an Amazon gift card. The Bucktail Band has a Hershey trip coming up where we will compete in the Music in the Parks competition against schools from the northeastern United States. Bucktail hasn't competed in a festival in over 20 years. Wish us the best of luck. Our upcoming events are on May 8th. There is a college career fair that students can look into colleges or businesses. Our Keystone Scholars Group is planning a trip to tour LHU. This is the first year for the Keystone Scholar Group for Bucktail. And the Little League opening day ceremony. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Thanks.
So,
Questions?
okay,
Nope.
Really well done. Thank you.
next up, we have the School of the Month, which would be Woodward and Liberty Curtain.
Turn it over to you. All right, I'm Brett Umbenhauer, principal of Liberty Curtain and Woodward Elementary Schools, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight with 6 students as well as a few staff members and many parents in the back here to share an exciting initiative that is shaping the culture at our schools, and it's called One Team, One Dream. One Team, One Dream is more than just a slogan, it's a mindset, and it represents collaboration, unity, and kindness, guiding our students to become lifelong learners who are adaptable, resilient, productive, and of high moral character. From January to May, we are focusing on monthly themes to promote teamwork, service, and engagement, bringing our schools and families and communities together in a meaningful way. But this initiative isn't just for our students, it's for all of us. Our staff and faculty have fully embraced this mindset, modeling what it means to work together, support one another, and stay focused on our shared goals. Tonight, as you listen to these students share their experiences, I encourage you to reflect on how we, as a school board, staff, and community can also embody this mindset. Imagine the impact that we can make when we truly function as one team with one dream.
Good evening. My name is Sawyer Hannah. I am a student at Woodward Elementary. I am excited to share how we kicked off One Team, One Dream in January. Our focus was on building friendships and supporting our community. One of the first things we did was visit WSQV radio station on January 14th, where students from both schools talked about our initiative and how we are making a difference. We also started a pen pal program with Liberty Curtin students. Wrote letters to Woodward students to start a new friendships. To help those in need, we held a January food drive collecting non-perishable food items for the local food banks. We also began our soda tab collection drive to support the Ronald McDonald House at Geisinger in Danville, PA. We tracked our progress together on a goal chart, reminding us that every little bit helps families in need. And to bring our schools even closer, we started learning a special One Team, One Dream theme song with Mr. Hesser, our music teacher, which we can't wait to sing together at Field Day.
Hi, my name is Violet Moore, and I'm a student at Liberty Curtin Elementary. In February, we focused on spreading love and kindness through Hearts in Harmony. In art class, we created Valentine's cards for residents at a local nursing home and for veterans, letting them know they are appreciated and not forgotten. Our pen pal program continued, and this time it was Woodward's turn to write letters to Liberty Curtin. It's been so exciting to make new friends and learn about each other. We also kept collecting soda tabs, updating our progress, and encouraging each other to reach our goal of 1,000 pounds. One of the most fun events was our movie night at the Roxy Theater on February 13th. Families from both schools came together, and the cost of the admission was covered with the donations to the Clinton County Housing Coalition. It was a great way to enjoy the time with friends while giving back to the community. Hi, my name is Easton Farrar. I'm a student at Liberty Curtin Elementary. In March, we focused on literacy and community connections. We connected through reading. Both schools read the same book as part of our One Book, Two Schools event. Through letters and virtual discussions, we shared our thoughts and learned from each other. During Reading Across America Week, we held a special mask reader event where teachers dressed up in disguise and read stories. We had to guess who they were, which made reading extra fun.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Andrew Coker. I'm a student at Woodward Elementary. This month we are focusing on compassion for animals with Paws for a Cause. Liberty Current students are collecting pet food, toys, and supplies for the Clinton County SPCA, while Woodward students are raising money for the SPCA through our Woodward Walks fundraiser event. We are also making posters to promote kindness and responsibility in caring for animals. A special guest from the Clinton County SPCA will visit to teach us more about helping animals in need.
Hi, my name is Wesley Johnson, and I'm a student at Woodward Elementary. In May, we will wrap up our One Team, One Dream initiative with Dreams United. One of the biggest highlights will be our tab collection finale, where we will celebrate how much we've collected for the Ronald McDonald House and recognize the teamwork that made it possible. Then, on May 27th, all Liberty Curtin and Woodward students will come together for a special field day at Central Mountain Middle School. This will be an incredible event where we will finally get to meet our pen pals in person after months of exchanging letters. As a final celebration of our journey, we will sing the One Team, One Dream theme song together, showing how much we've grown as a united team. It will be a day filled with fun, friendship, and the spirit of working together as one.
Hi, my name is Brantley Stover. I am a student at Liberty Curtin Elementary. One team, one dream. Liberty Curtin and Woodward Elementary Schools together in so many ways. From collecting soda tabs and to writing to our pen pals, reading together and supporting local causes, we have built friendships, strengthened our schools, and made a difference in our community. To truly show what this has meant to us, we would now like to share a video highlighting some of the amazing things we have done and accomplished together. In the background, you will hear a special song that we created and will be singing together at Field Day. We hope this video gives you a glimpse into teamwork and kindness that one team, one dream, has inspired all of us. Thank you for your support.
One team, one dream,
One team, one dream. Gather around the flagpole, morning sun, it starts to shine. With our hearts and minds together, we're one team, one dream in line. Classrooms filled with laughter, every face a friendly sight. Hand in hand we lead each other through the day and through the night. One team, one dream, we're stronger than we've ever been. One team, one dream, with friends and family in between. One team, one dream, together we can reach the flagpole. Morning sun, it starts to shine. With our hearts and minds together, we're one team, one dream in mind. Classrooms filled with laughter, every face a friendly sight. Hand in hand we lead each other through the day and through the night. One team, one dream, we're stronger than we've ever been.
One team, one dream.
Together we can touch the high.
Good job.
Good job, guys.
Dr. Edmund. Tom is hollering at me that he's on there as Tom, but we don't see him. He said he can see what's going
Might be on
on.
the second page. Colton.
Got him. Got him.
All right.
Sounds like a fisherman. Thank you.
When children sing, it just.
Christine, Tom is there.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a student recognition. I can honestly say probably in my 14-year career in the school board, this is one of the better things I've ever seen happen. So, not to get into a lot of detail, but recently Officer Todd Bryant, who I'd like to have step up if you would, was injured while performing his duties at Central Mountain High School. In the course of this chaotic events, we had a student step up and use real world applications of things she'd learned. Well, I was gonna call you in a second. So she used the stuff she was taught at our career and technology department and going through to be an EMT. If you're not an EMT yet, are you? Still trying. You are? Okay,
Yeah,
she's an
she
EMT,
is.
yeah. So she used those skills to help stabilize Officer Bryant and provide first aid until an ambulance arrived. So for this, I'd like to call Emily Everett. Right. We have a certificate here for you. I don't know if Dr. Redmond, would you like to say anything or
Well,
I'll walk over and give it to Todd and let Todd give it to her.
Okay. As Butch was saying, we really appreciate your quick thinking, quick action, and using what you knew to help out someone who needed it at the moment. It's a testament to your integrity and your responsibility and the amount that you've learned And I'm really proud of what you did and so happy that you're part of our Keystone Central team and you were there in the moment. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Good luck
You're
this year.
welcome. Good luck. Good job.
All right, moving right along, we have a presentation from the Food and Nutrition Service update.
Good evening. Hi, good evening. I'm Sharon Berger. I'm the Food Nutrition Service Supervisor for the district. I just wanted to take a few minutes to share with our board and the community some updates of what's been happening in our department over the last year. And I'm going to rely on Colton back there to get me through the slides because can't see up front there. So I just wanted to share with the board some things that's been new in our department. We've spent this year making lots of changes within the department, with staffing, with interacting with students, and with some recipe changes in development. So I wanted just to interject just a couple of numbers for the board to share. As our enrollment in the district slowly goes down, our participation with meals goes up. And that's a challenge for us because we, like a lot of other departments, struggle with staffing. And I took a look at some numbers from August of 23 to March of 24, and we were shy of serving 500,000 meals during that time frame. And from August of this school year until March of this school year, we've seen a 5.6% increase in the total number of meals. To translate that into numbers, it's 27,000, and that's pretty significant for us. I think it speaks to a couple of things in our community. We are a community eligibility program where all students eat meals for free here. And they're taking advantage of that. They are eating, and good nutrition lends to good education for them. So we're very proud of that. During the school year, we've done a couple of different things. We wanted to interact more with students. So we started our school year off with a survey to all the secondary students, asking them likes, dislikes, things that they would like to see. Most students don't understand the rules that govern our program, but there are lots of them and they get a say. They get to have a say, and hopefully some of the things that they ask for, we can accommodate for them. So we have worked really hard this year on changing our presentation with the way that we serve fruits and vegetables to students, with what the entrees look like. We've been working with Mr. Ummenbauer on changing the way the flow of traffic works at Woodward to start for next school year, because when we did a little redistricting and some of the Robb Elementary students went over to Woodward, we have about 35, 38 more students there. It doesn't sound like a lot, but to get everybody through that line and give them that full 30 minutes of eating, we need to change the flow of traffic. So we're going to be doing a little bit with some construction to the serving line there to accommodate those students better and make sure they have sufficient time to get through the line so that they can get the most out of their lunch. We did a couple fun things this year. We had our first pumpkin decorating contest in all the buildings where our staff interacted, and they decorated pumpkins, and Dr. Redmond in the cabinet voted on which school had the nicest pumpkin. the picture there with me is with Dallas. He's a middle school student. He was the recipient of a random drawing. He participated in the middle school secondary student survey. So I was able to give him a Barnes & Noble $25 gift card back in the fall. We spent a lot of time taking a look at how we can expand our breakfast entrees. The students got to try lots of different things this year. I'm not going to read all of them off all the slides, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot view of what that looks like for some different entrees. We did the same thing at the elementary schools. In the next school year, starting in July, PDE regulations are actually going to become a little bit more restrictive with sodium and with sugar guidelines. So food manufacturers right now are reformulating some things. And we do have several homemade recipes that we provide for students, and homemade mac and cheese is one of them. So we've had to revise that recipe so that we can meet the nutrient analysis when our department gets reviewed. At the secondary schools, we decided to try to introduce some specialty stations. They were very, very successful. We started them in October. We have plans to continue on with those and expand. And we started a student tasting committee this past spring, which is really neat, with some Bucktail students and with some Central Mountain High School students. They got to sit down, they got to do some blind taste testing with the cafeteria managers and myself, and their input counts. Out of that, we were able to make some changes with what those specialty stations will look like next year, and we'll start those as soon as the school year begins. I wanted to talk just a little bit about some of our upcoming plans. I know the board is aware of the cafeteria furniture renovations. Those are on target. The purchase orders have been awarded to vendors, and we are on target, as far as I know, as of today, to have that install happen sometime in July in both schools. Those projects are in production right now as we speak. And the drawing on the left is of Central Mountain High School, and the 3D drawing is what the Central Mountain Middle School will look like when everything is done and installed there. And I wanted to end by letting the board know in the community that we'll be running a community feeding program this summer at Central Mountain High School. It'll be open to all community children ages 1 to 18. They do not have to be a student inside Keystone Central School District to participate with that. It's going to start Monday, June the 16th. It'll run for 4 weeks. It'll run concurrent with our ESY program that happens. For those of you who don't know, that's the extended school year for special education students. But this year, we were able to expand that program. When we had the program last year, it was at a park. This year, we're going to have that at Central Mountain Middle School. And instead of offering 3 days of bundled meals for community, we'll be able to do that for 7 days. Wow. So in order to meet PDE regulations of how those distribution days look, we'll split it into 2 days. So we'll have a distribution on Monday, and we'll have another one on Thursday. So look for more information to come on that. So there'll be 1 4-day bundle of breakfast and lunches available to the community. And then there'll be 1 3-day bundle for breakfast and lunches for children ages 1 to 18. I'll be doing a radio announcement in the next couple weeks on WSQV to announce that kickoff, and look for more information as we kind of end the school year. More information will be posted on Keystone Central School District's Food Nutrition Service website, and there'll be some reoccurring Facebook posts that'll happen as well to promote that to our community. So I just wanted to kind of give you a snapshot view in just a couple minutes of some things that we've been working on.
Sharon, I have a question.
Sure.
Everything really looks good. I'm really impressed that we're increasing the amount of meals we're serving. It must mean that the meals are pretty good, that the kids are eating that many of them. So I'm happy to hear that. The question I have is on the summer feeding program.
Mhm.
I see it taking place at Central Mountain Middle School.
Yes.
It's first come, first serve. Is there going to be any provisions for people from the Renova area?
They're invited to come down.
So they have to drive this 30 miles down to pick up a meal and drive home?
The community is, let me answer it in two parts. Yes, they would have to be picked up at Central Mountain Middle School because that's what we're approved for. There is an allowance for families. So let's say, I would come down and I would pick up meals for my children, but I would also be allowed to pick up meals for my neighbor or a friend within the community. So that is permitted under the application through PDE. They could do it that way.
But there's still, someone still has to drive down to pick it up.
Yes.
So it's almost kind of like it's excluding some people from that end of the county. So,
I don't think it was meant to necessarily exclude anybody from that area. When we put the program together, it was kind of a bundle together with the ESY program, which is driven by special ed. So when that kind of was born, so to speak, we ran it just like we did last year. The decision was made not to have Renovo open with ESY because there weren't, I believe, as many students as it was felt that needed to be. So when they all came down to the park, we decided to run our program concurrently with ESY. And because it's happening at the middle school, that's where we decided to run our program with it.
thank you. Anyone else have any questions? We'll start over there with Chris and work our way.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing, cause Butch and I are kind of like the outline people. But I was gonna ask about Sugar Valley too, is back when COVID was going on, I think you folks did this for
Yes.
all the different locations, and why couldn't it be the same for the outline also?
I think part of it is the staffing challenge that we have, and then the food safety piece is another piece of it. When it can become centralized, it's much easier to be able to staff the programs because in our department, we're staffing for both. We're staffing for the ESY students that are eating and having programming at Central Mountain Middle School, which, if I'm understanding correctly, that's all of the students within the district for special ed will be having their programming at the middle school.
Okay.
And some of the rules too, I know you might not be familiar with them, but when we were in the COVID years, things were a little more relaxed
Right.
and a little bit more flexible with Department of Education than kind of how they are today and what the application process looks like behind the scenes.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Elizabeth? Well, I don't think, Bill, you didn't have any other question?
I don't really have a question. I just think there should be a way of figuring out how we can get the food closer to the people that need it. It's, you know, I think it's a little unreasonable to have people driving 60 miles to get breakfast, you know? And it's almost, what's it to you? It's
About
probably
15.
a 25-mile round trip, or
Probably.
25, 30-mile round
25
trip.
mile.
Yeah, I think that's a big ask,
Yeah.
you know?
Us old people, though, we like driving for breakfast everywhere. The kids
Elizabeth?
can't do it.
Elizabeth, you had a question?
Yes, I'll first segue with, I think between your innovation, your skills, and Dr. Redmond administration, they can figure out something. It might not be this year, but maybe after you get feedback. Okay, so that's just, but I will say this, I've been watching you for years now, and I'm so happy that you work at this district because of food. We want to make the children feel welcome and heard and food. The segue is right there, and you've done a a terrific job and letting them interact and sample and get feedback. We can only do that because you're here and you're part of the community. And I think it's wonderful. I can't thank you enough, and your staff. I can't even imagine.
We face the same challenges as other departments and other school districts.
Sure, sure.
And in our,
Anyone? I'm sorry, go ahead,
that's
Karen.
okay. In our world, I know a lot of our staff, they value having their summers off.
Of course.
They like that, and it is a challenge, but certainly it's something to consider and work toward for next year.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Anyone else have any questions?
And just a quick comment. I just want to thank you, Sharon, for all this information. And it looks like you've got some really exciting things going on. Obviously, the kids are increasing with their participation in the lunches. And I know that you and your staff, and I want to make sure we include them because I know they work very hard with
We
the
care.
preparation and the serving and so on.
We
It's
care.
Yes, you do.
We
so-
care about the students here.
so
It's-
thanks to everybody in the program.
yeah. Thanks for
it's
having me tonight. I
And
appreciate
thank you
it.
for all that, all the information on the whole program. I appreciate it.
All right, anyone else have any questions? Hey, thank you, Sharon. Appreciate
I don't
it.
have a question, but I think back when it was COVID times, we had volunteers that came. I know I volunteered to come down to the school and bring up boxes. Me and Jen Wilson,
I
we brought,
remember that.
yeah, we brought boxes of bags of foods. They were bagged lunches. I don't know what it looks like now and what kind of meals that we're giving out, but I know that that's what we had done before. And I don't know, maybe if that's an option, maybe some of us can volunteer to do that.
Yeah, we serviced Monument and Orviston in those years.
Yes.
With that, I remember that. Thank
I'd-
you.
I'd be willing to do that for my area.
So, yeah, so we can see if we can figure something out. Maybe we can get some transportation arranged to get it up there somewhere, one way or the other, or
Yes,
both places, I guess, or.
yes. Point
Okay.
taken. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's on the
Thank
radar.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
next
job.
up, we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Redmond?
My report is going to be fairly short. Normally I do this just on the work sessions and not during the voting session. But I kind of skipped over last week's for most of it. So just real quick, this last week, our machine trades teacher was approved to work with students over the summer to create parts for NASA. We did some of that work again last year as well. But I think it's a great honor for him to be able to have his program and his connection to NASA and with our students for a couple of years in a row. Also, last week, John Wadsworth, who is our EMT teacher and our program with the safety program we have downstairs. And I spoke with Sheriff Stover here in Lock Haven. Sheriff Stover offered to donate a squad car that they don't need anymore for the district to use in our law enforcement program. So it's a great partnership that we have with the Lock Haven Police Department. So we're gonna, assuming that that the council approves that, we'll weave that into the program that we're doing here with our CTE program. Financial Reality Day was an interesting thing that happened last week here. It was really interesting that we had folks from the community helping our students think about what it really costs to adult. And so our students had to decide what kind of a job they wanted, and from there, how much money they would get, and then look at what are the costs for
reality.
renting, or if they wanted to buy a house, or they wanted to
Good.
have a cell phone, or on and on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so they kind of walk through all of the aspects of what it takes to create and create a budget and live a life. So it was a really kind of a cool experience. It was nice to have the partnership with the community because it was staffed by folks that are working in the banks and that sort of thing around in the community. So really nice event here last week with that.
Probably eye-opening for a lot of the kids.
Yeah, I heard that from a lot of the folks who were there at the tables, is that the students were kind of shocked at the realities of all of the
Sticker shock.
costs. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, reality.
And that's all I have.
Yeah, that's
Well,
great.
thank you.
So may I? So
Go
so
ahead,
the
Elizabeth.
banks worked with you, the local banks?
There's a couple of folks from a couple of the banks that were there as kind of part of the, what does it take to
Great.
get a student loan, or what does it take to get a car loan, and that kind of thing.
Wow, that's super.
Nice.
Great.
Okay, moving right along, hearing of visitors. We have 3 visitors signed up, 2 in person, 1 on Zoom. We're going to start with Anthony Walker. If you would step up to the table, use the microphone so the people online can hear you. Identify yourself, please.
I'm sure he can talk loud.
Yeah, I can. My name is Anthony Walker.
Hold on a
I
minute, Tony.
am
Just
the,
give me a second, Tony.
okay, sorry.
Sorry. Right here. Okay, I gotta read this apparently. Visitors wishing to address the Board of School Directors on topics of public interest are welcome to do so at this time. We request that you keep your comments and questions limited to 4 minutes so that everyone has a chance to be heard. There's a sign-up sheet, which you know, has already been done. The board welcomes comments from our community. However, the board protocol, the board will not engage with speakers or respond during public commentary. Okay. Now, if you would identify yourself,
What?
please.
You're only giving me 4?
Yes.
Come on. Okay. I'm here, I am the current Borough Council President of the Mill Hill Borough. And I am here to address the board on a recurring issue that we have with the sanitary sewer system that comes from both the elementary and the middle school. Moreover, it is the middle school, and the issue is paper towels and other items entering the sewer system and plugging it up. I do have pictures, which I will be more than happy to share with the board. I'll give them to the secretary before I go. I did speak with Dr. Redmond and Mr. Johnson and Sam Hoy last week on this. We did miss your first meeting last Thursday, but it is, again, causing the borough some difficulty. So one way or the other, we need to come to a some kind of conclusion here so that doesn't occur what did last year. There's some pictures here, which I will show, that there were some borough residents that probably were not very happy because in one instance over on Cedar Lane, backed up into their basement, and they have a finished basement. So we had some additional costs there, and we would like to sit down with somebody here, your committee again. We need to find a resolution.
That it then, Tony?
That's it for me.
Hey,
I thank the board for your time, and I got to tell you, this is probably one of the only times I've had to appear here. I'm not saying anything bad, but I don't really want to need to come back.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Next up, we have a Manuel Rodriguez, who's with us by Zoom.
There should be 10
Mr. Rodriguez?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Again,
Okay.
you heard the parameters that we read, and you heard what I read earlier about everything that still applies to you. And again, you'll be given the 4 minutes, so go ahead.
You're muted again.
You're muted.
Good. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Just wanted a couple questions for the board about some of the things that are on the table coming up. My first, oh, there it goes. My first question is about you know, with all these, with the salaries and stuff going up and the talk of bringing a salary up, why are we doing that when we are, you know, in a deficit when it comes down to some of the things that we're trying to pay off and things that are on the table now? There's, you know, from my understanding, the more things that we spend money on, the more it's going to reflect on the people, whether in taxes or something like that. So that's my one question that I have coming up. The resource officer's pay. I noticed that there's talks about his pay going up quite significantly. No offense to the resource officer. I've never really met him. I'm sure he's a great guy. My question is why? Why are we going to up that salary that much? And is there any other way that we can probably save that money and use it for something else? Or raise his salary maybe half of what we're talking about and use that money to go somewhere else? I've noticed that there's a lot of things that are being cut, and then I see some salaries going up. Special education is one thing that probably shouldn't be cut, but it's being cut, and now we're raising certain people's salary. I think that's not fair, especially if you care enough for the special education system. Some of that money could go to Miss Sharon that was just talking about getting food to Renova and things like that. Why not? So I guess that's my biggest concern is why are we raising this up? I've noticed that there's a lot of money going around and some money going missing, coming back, and no one seems to know what's going on here. So I'm kind of worried about our students learning budgeting skills in this district.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it for now.
Thank you very much. Next up is Christina. You heard everything I said earlier, so we're good.
Yep. So I'm here tonight just to hopefully make you understand the importance of the positions that we have within our district, especially the positions that directly impact our students. And I know that sometimes we make decisions and those decisions aren't always made aware to everybody involved at the timely manner that it should be. And sometimes we don't share those things with, you know, the students and the teachers involved, but it was brought to my attention within the last week that we were cutting our librarians and moving from 4 to 1. And as a parent who has 2 daughters that truly have loved the library since they were 6 months old and have been truly inspired by their librarians that have been in their lives, I find that to be a really devastating thing that we're doing in our district. And when I think about the librarians that we have, they're making such an impact on our schools and they're making an impact on our students. And their jobs are valued and they are important, but yet we're going to go from 4 to 1. And I know that we compare ourselves to neighboring school districts. And I just had a friend of mine reach out to me to say, Christine, I know your heart's hurting right now about these librarians being cut. In State College, we're hiring more. We have one that's retiring and we are filling that position. And there are 2 librarians with aides. So like, what are we doing to our schools if we don't have a librarian there? And a lot of my students are beside themselves with the thought of having a school without a librarian. According to them, the librarians teach them about digital safety and literacy. They teach them how to steer clear of plagiarism. They help students get into reading. They create a warm and welcoming environment for students and for teachers. It's not just the library that does that, it's the librarians. There's talk of having a paraprofessional in the library in place of a librarian. And then our students will have extra time to work on the computers doing ALEX and Amplify. And I can tell you right now, that's not what our kids want. That's not what they need. That's not what's best for them. What's best for them is a person that is certified as a librarian, that has the education to teach them the things that they need to know about digital literacy, digital safety, many other skills. And I have so many letters from students just explaining the importance of librarians in their lives. And I have one student in particular that said when he was 7 years old, he didn't really know who he was or what was going on around him. He was in the process of being adopted. He was confused about life, but his librarian is what helped him through that hard time. Because librarians go really deep with our students. They pay attention to them. They talk to them. They find books that can inspire them and they put them on on the shelves in the library. And then I'm hearing that even though we're saying we're not getting rid of our libraries, there's hundreds of books that are on their way out the door and bookshelves that are going to be removed. And I can't live with that. I'm not okay with it as an educator, as a reading specialist, as somebody who loves to inspire reading in our students. And then I look at the things that our librarians are doing. And I know that we have an elementary librarian that gives 1,305 minutes of instruction. Who's going to give that instruction now? Where's that going? I mean, I know that sometimes these decisions are made and there's nothing we can do about them, but that doesn't mean we have to agree with them, and that doesn't mean we have to stay silent whenever we don't agree. And I think that as a district, we need to make sure that everything we do puts
Christina, your time's up. Thank you very
students
much.
forefront.
Thank you.
But could Dr. Redmond give us a little play-by-play why all that is happening? Because I was gonna ask that also.
I'm not sure if this is quite the right venue for that. I mean,
Okay.
if we want to talk, so, I've spoken a little bit about that before. So I guess it's up to the chair in terms of how you want to address that.
I think without getting into specifics, it could be a labor issue. We can go ahead and talk about some of the issues.
Okay, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. It's a tough decision, to be sure, and I don't want to suggest that our librarians don't add value, because I know that they do. It was the recommendation to make that move, and the reason that I made that move is at the end of the day, we have to reduce the number of positions that we have in the district. And so trying to find something that to start with, there are nothing that we could do to remove positions that is not going to affect students. All of our staff has an impact on our students and what we're doing. The decision for the library fit with ensuring that when we didn't replace other teachers that are retiring, we knew that those librarians would have a place to go and their jobs would stay intact. If there was a way that we could preserve librarians, I would love to do that, but I also know that we need to reduce the number of staff that we have in the district. We're looking at administration, we're looking at our professional staff, we're looking at our classified staff. We need to start working through the process with our certificate and our professional staff now. So some of this is a timing issue. You'll see other changes in other departments, administration, and so forth coming in the coming months. But this is one, it just happened to be the first one in the line of things. We know that there's about 20 minutes every 6 days in our elementary rotation of instruction provided by the librarians. So that's kind of one of the specials that our elementary students do go to. When looking at the time available to our elementary teachers, there's time within their day without impacting some of the contractual obligations for planning time and all that sort of thing, that 20 minutes every 6th day can be woven into the work that our elementary teachers are doing. And again, it's not my preference. I would rather not do that. I would love to be able to keep our librarians. But our financial position is such that we have to start reducing the number of staff that we have. And this is a way to do that without increasing class sizes or having other things that have a really direct impact on the instructional work that we're doing across the district.
Go ahead, Chris.
What you just said, they're just moving into other positions?
Yes.
So they're still gonna be on staff?
There's 4 people who currently hold librarian positions right now.
Okay.
We're moving down to one centralized librarian. So the process is that we have to displace all the librarians. But at the same time, there are staff that are retiring, and the board has already accepted their retirements. And
Right.
said, we're not going to be replacing those library positions except for one of them. So the other 3 can find another one of the open positions in the district that is opened up by retirement.
Okay.
So overall, we're reducing our professional staff by 3 people.
All right, I was curious too, and when Christine said it, I just like, okay, we need an explanation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question as well.
Go ahead, Polly.
So the one librarian that we're keeping on staff, will they go to the different schools to be with the kids, or like how does that work? What do you mean by one centralized librarian or library?
So that one librarian won't go to all of the schools. There, as was mentioned by Ms. Oniskanich, there will be a paraeducator who is there that will be working in the rotation so that students have the opportunity to check in and out books. Because it'll be a paraeducator doing that work, it can't be instructional in nature, but they can certainly help do library setup. And that's some of what the lead librarian, the one librarian that we're keeping, will be helping to facilitate for library themes and that sort of thing across the elementary schools.
So the librarian won't necessarily be teaching the kids, but she'll be, what will that librarian be doing? I'm sorry.
There will be some library electives that will still be happening in the middle school. So that person will be teaching those middle school elective library classes or library related classes, and then coordinating the weeding reports and some of the other functions that have to happen just over the course of the year in each one of the libraries.
Okay. I mean, I told you were going to have to convince me of this a little bit. I wasn't really on board with it, but I understand that we're in a tough spot. That's all I had.
And if I may, I know I started getting phone calls about this last week one day through actually my sister's book club started it calling me, and my wife and I have had a lengthy discussion about it, and we have two different of opinions. Like, my wife is a firm believer in going to a library and getting a book. When I was growing up, in fact, I still have it. I have when they opened the Renova Library, I have library card number 3. I was the third person to get a library card.
I was there.
Did you ever use it, Butch?
It looks still in your house.
It still looks like brand new. But anyways, I had it, I used it a lot when I was growing up. That was my life, reading. We couldn't do anything. I experienced most of my travel through reading. I found out through the years, I don't need a book in my hand when I have my tablet. I can, if I need some research, I don't get the Encyclopedia Britannica out and look up stuff. I can look it up on there. I can do my research on my tablet or my laptop. I read all my books, and I usually have at least one, if not 2 books open at a time on my tablet reading from my Kindle. My wife, on the other hand, has to have that book in her hand. She goes to the library a couple of times a week. In fact, she's on the library board at Renova. She goes a couple of times a week to get books to bring home to read. Both of us are constantly reading, but she likes the paper book or the hardback book. I like the tablet. So I think she's going to get mad, but I think I'm more 21st century and she's older school. I think we're growing now to the point that I don't believe a lot of kids check out books nowadays. I think they get their stuff online. They don't go in and look up stuff in encyclopedia. They get them online. Does this really bother me? We're doing away with the librarian position. Yes. Would it be better to do away with the librarian position or having 35 kids in a class? At that point, I think I have to make the decision. I'm going to go along with the librarian. I think we all know we have to make cuts. We know that the funding's not there to provide the staff that we would love to see. Now we have to have the staff that we need to see. So that's all I have to say.
I do have one more question. Will this paraeducator be able to help the kids find the books that they need? Like, are they going to be taught how to show the kids quickly? I mean, I understand it can't be educational, but
Yes.
kids need to know how to find what they're looking for. Is that paraeducator going to teach them how to find what they need to find?
Between the classroom teacher, again, the paraeducators can't provide specific instruction because that's not kind of in their job classification. But the paraeducator can certainly do modeling and show them how to find the books. The teaching, the core teaching about that would come from their classroom teacher.
Okay, Chris?
I feel for you in the position you're in with the wife. Kids need to know
how to stay up with the future and what's coming for employers and everything else. But God forbid if the internet system ever went down, they still need to know how to open a book, read it, and research it. They need to get back to the basics. So I feel for you in your position.
So
Yeah.
if I could, I just want to just reiterate, our libraries will still be there. Our students will still have access to books. There will still be going to the library regularly. Our elementary kids will still be involved with books.
Okay.
Bill, I think you had something?
Yeah, I'd like few things. When this came up for initial discussion, I questioned the usefulness of a librarian. Here.
At the works.
I don't remember
Elizabeth?
which session it was.
Elizabeth, Bill has the floor.
Nobody provided me with any of this information. Christina, thank you so much. Seriously, I thought that there really wasn't much need for a librarian with younger kids. I thought, librarian was useful when you needed to do some tough research to help you find the sources you need. That's what I've been using it for probably more decades than most of the people in this room are alive. So I was wrong. It sounds like this is something, these people are contributing something significant to these kids' education. I think we should revisit this. My feelings, and if we voted on anything, and I don't remember that, whether that was something that came up for a vote, my vote would change probably now. As for, the conflict between printed and digital word, there's a place for both. I mean, my socializing friends are always teasing me because I've always got the phone whipped out when we're having a discussion to look up the, what we're arguing about, the stuff that when we were kids over whatever, a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever it was, we would argue for hours about something because to find out the answer, we'd have to go to the library, which wasn't there. Now you can get anything. Obviously, they need to be taught about that and useful, but there's still something both useful and aesthetically beneficial of a good book. As I said, I've read several studies that have demonstrated that retention and cognition were better with the printed word than with the digital word. And Dr. Hall confirmed that last week. So there's a place for those books on the shelf, and there's a place for somebody to help the kids find them, I guess. And I just think that I agree. We may have to cut staff, but I don't think that staff should be cut at the student level first. It should be cut other places. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Elizabeth, I believe you had something.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
Discussion. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with something positive, okay? When we were at the policy committee meeting, I was so happy to see that it took them months, understandably, that the AI policy is finally got a discussion going, possibly the chair of the committee can explain more about that. But what I said at that meeting, which I've been waiting for a year to say, is that I'm hopeful that at some point, a discussion can start once the AI policy is up and running, people are comfortable, that we start our own CTC program curriculum with AI.
Elizabeth, how
Well,
does this have
this-
to do with the
this does.
the librarians?
Yes, it does. So here, let me segue now.
Okay.
So this timing is off because in my mind, for a future discussion, is I think the librarians with potentially, if the administration does this with curriculum, with CTC, the librarians would have been an integral part in all of this because they're certified, they're trained in all of the things that she was saying. This AI is the future and what I said during the policy committee meeting is that employers want potential employees to know how to build a podcast, to know how to research a podcast, to know how to understand what AI is. And that's where the older folks think of books and libraries, which they still are, but it's so much bigger than that. So I wish this topic wouldn't be here today. I wish we had a chance to first explore the AI and let administration explore with the CTC program and AI and podcasting and blend that in with the library. And there's something else. Since I wasn't part, I'm assuming this first started, Tracy, this all started first in
Elizabeth.
your personnel committee. No, just please, I have to finish, please. Correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Okay.
we also didn't discuss, is there possibly any type of partnership with the Ross Library? I don't know. I also don't know if these people are certified, have we paid for any of their education? I don't know. Personally, I would like to table this. I'm good, that's why I have my notes here, so we can go into further discussions about this, because right now, I have too many unknowns to make an educated guess, because right now, I think I agree with Bill. We need to look elsewhere. Thank you.
Actually, I don't know if it's anything on here we're voting on, so there's nothing we need
No,
to
we're
table.
not.
It's just, it was a
We're not.
discussion
Oh,
brought
I
up.
thought it was put on.
It was a
the-
discussion
oh.
brought up because of Christine's comment. So, okay. Anyone else have anything?
I thought it was on the.
No.
it's not.
All right, next up, report from the policy committee.
We had a meeting yesterday. One of the things we discussed was student discipline. And some ways to look at things, and we kind of tabled that, and we're going to have some administration come to the next policy meeting so we can get a little more depth and understanding of how things work with that. We looked at policy 625 on procurement cards. We're still kind of working on that. Policy 815-1, the use of generative artificial intelligence in education. There's a policy on that Dr. Redmond cleaned up. And so that nobody is just going off using it on their own. There's going to be steps in place that people are trained in it, certified in it, and everything has to go through them to teach the teachers to be able to use it more or less. So that is up for our first read. Our district social media is up for first read also. And we discussed the new policy idea on a little bit of safety and security regarding money transfers, bank transfers. Dr. Redmond has plans in place for that and some ARs written.
Yeah, and to be clear, they're
Yeah.
things that we've already put in place.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that's it.
That was good.
Okay. Moving right along. G1, limited general fund budget. We have a motion to accept G1.
So if I could insert, I'm sorry. We need from the board a decision today whether or not to increase taxes, the property taxes. And if the board chooses to increase the property taxes, by what rate? Joni needs this information to finish completing the budget. You'll be looking at the proposed budget that you'll be voting on in the May meeting, so that we need this information tonight from you.
Okay, what's recommended by the administration is a 3.55 millage increase. So we need to have either a motion to approve that, move it forward for Jenny to work on. We have a motion to move forward with what the administration is recommending. I don't hear a motion. Any discussion on it? Go ahead, Chris.
I cannot see doing a tax increase. While I appreciate everybody's work to trim our budget, I think we're trimming in the wrong areas. And I think there's a lot more savings that we could do. There's a tough discussion coming up, and the one gentleman, Mr. Rodriguez, asked about. I think we need to be more efficient. There's areas we need to spend money, and there's areas we don't. And I think we could do a lot more trimming if we worked as a group every month on different items on the budget instead of one last month. We should be working on the budget every month. Certain things we've been spending money on, $20,000 signs and stuff like that. I disagreed with. And I think if we have to raise taxes to fund stuff like that instead of funding the areas we truly need, till we can do that, I cannot approve a tax increase. Till we're doing it a lot more efficiently. We're taking a lot of money away from special ed and technology. And yeah, we're trimming some of the other stuff, but I think we could trim it a lot more.
If I could speak to the special education area, on the presentation last week and the one that's attached here, you see that we are looking to reduce our spending in special education by a little more than $270,000. And I want to be really clear that we are not reducing services to students in any way, shape, or form. So that savings has been those efficiencies that you're talking about.
Right.
And also shifting from doing some external hires for some of the positions, distance kind of services, to having our own staff. That is going to help us save quite a bit on some of our staffing positions. So just to be clear, we are not reducing services to kids. We are maintaining our level of service. We're required to by IDEA. And so we're keeping that up. I just want to make sure that's really clear to the board.
Okay.
We're not taking anything away from the student services that we provide for students with IEPs.
Okay. I just think that, like I say, there's areas we do need to spend some money on, but there's a lot of things that we've done that we didn't have to. That's all.
Butch,
Just 1 second, Bill. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Okay,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Bill. I'm sorry.
I just, Dr. Redmond, I don't want to put you on the spot, okay? And if it's details that you can't just off of the top of your head, then just say so.
Okay.
But I've had several people approach me about this, and that's what they're concerned about is, are we shortchanging the kids? And if you could be a little more specific about where this money's coming from that we're saving. It's not
Specifically
going to
in
be,
special education
Yeah,
area?
yeah.
I'd have to get back on to you on that.
Could you maybe do that either in a memo or
Sure, I'll
next
get that
week
to you.
or next meeting, please,
Mhm.
or something? Thank you.
I think what we're looking for, we have to give Joni direction on which way we would like to proceed. I believe the admin recommended a 3.55% increase. I didn't have a motion for that. So what we needed, a motion to do something to give her direction. So I'd like to have a motion of some sort.
I'll make a motion of no tax increase, and we spend the next year trimming and looking at it deeper. And like I said, once a month, pick one part of the budget and go over and see where we're at, so that we can all have a part in it. So my motion will be no tax increase.
Do we have a second for the 0 increase?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second for a 0 increase. Any discussion?
I just have a question, and I guess it was, oh, I'm sorry, Tom, you can go.
Go ahead,
No,
Paul.
go ahead.
You already started. I'll go to Tom next.
Okay. I just had a question. So if we were, I know that you have a motion on the floor and a second on the floor, so I'm sorry about that. I should have said something a second ago, but so if we were to say, like give the go ahead to or the, if we were to say, okay, the 3.5 tax increase, does that mean that we are not going to continue to look for ways to not do that 3.5 tax increase? Or does that mean that Joni is going to assume we're doing the 3.5 tax increase and that's it?
We will, the short answer is Joni has to build a budget between now and May 1st for you to see. So she needs to know what to base the revenues off of. She's going to need to start right away and working out that budget based on whatever the direction from the board is. That being said, Joni and I are continually looking for ways to trim our budget. And it's a comprehensive conversation. We're looking at every spec of everything that we're doing. And we're trying to demonstrate by the reduction of more than $1.8 million in our sort of discretionary materials, operations and supplies end of the budget to try to reduce things as much as possible. We're looking at when teachers retire, if there's any possibility of us not replacing that staff or moving staff around so that reducing the total number of staff. And again, that's not just in the teaching staff, it's also in all of our areas across the school district. We're looking at making those reductions through attrition whenever possible. So again, to really specifically answer you, Polly, we're always looking for ways to reduce our expenditures, but we need the direction from you tonight so that Joni can build the budget for you so it's ready on May 1st in the work session.
So I guess what I'm saying is when you come back to us, it may not, even if you were to say, we could increase to that amount, it doesn't mean that when you come back to us, we are going to increase to that amount is what I'm asking. Sorry, I might not have worded that right the first time.
We would have to base it off of the board directive. Whatever the board says you're giving us the directive to do, tax increase, no tax increase, whatever the rate is, that's what Joni has to work off of.
Okay.
Tom?
Nope, I was just gonna second the no increase, that's all.
All right, we already had the second.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I said I didn't need to talk.
okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just would like to make a couple comments regarding that. I am certainly not one that is thrilled about any kind of a tax increase at all, because I'll have to pay it the same as everybody else. However, by saying at this point we are not going to increase it at all that is going to do is kick the can down the road and increase the deficit that you're going to be dealing with next year and the year after that and the year after that. Where we made the mistake a few years ago was not doing any tax increases for about 4 straight years. I'm not necessarily in favor of a 3.55, but I think a 1.78 would be a good compromise, and it would would help to reduce that deficit a bit. I think saying a 0 tax increase at this point, the thing that upsets me most of all is that we're constantly at the local level being made out to be the bad guys because everybody above us doesn't want to make any decisions, especially at both at the federal and at the state level. The federal level right now, we don't even know how much federal money we're going to get. That's in such chaos down there right now. We don't even know we could get less title money. We could get less special ed IDA money. We don't know. And of course, there's always the ongoing stuff at the state that they want to bicker around for 6 months after they're supposed to have a budget. So it all gets funneled back down to us at our level. And so when we say we want to do a tax increase, then we're the villains in this whole situation. I don't think at this point a zero tax increase is a wise move. And I know that's not a popular thing to say. And if, you know, somebody has to say it though. And I think that as being fiscally responsible for this school district, and I know that we're talking about, we're going to cut this and we're going to cut that. You can cut all the nickel and dime stuff you want, but you're not going to make a significant dent in that deficit. Your money is the bulk of your budget. And I don't care what school district it is, there's 75 to 80% of your budget comes in staffing and benefits, salaries and benefits. And no matter what you talk about as far as positions that you're going to try to propose cutting, nobody's going to like it. Whether it's librarians, whether it's any type of teaching staff, any type of, and I don't want to see that. Nobody does. But when you get to the point where we are now, where we don't know what kind of money we're going to get from anywhere, from any source, and if we, you know, we have to keep coming back to our local property taxes or taxpayers, which is certainly not something anybody wants to do. But if you recall, if you look at this slide, two things eat up every bit of local tax revenue that we get: the PESers and the cyber charter school. We have no control over either one of those. And so even if we do a tax increase, it'll help a little bit. But if we don't do anything, I think it's not a responsible act. And I know that a lot of you disagree, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I just don't think that we're doing what we could do or should do at this point.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Chris.
I respect what Jeff said, and I understand where he's coming from totally. We don't know what kind of money we're getting federal, state-wise or anything. That should be the signal that we need to cut every staff that we can. And I don't say all teachers and stuff, but we probably have a lot of administration stuff that we could cut back on. We could combine stuff. Students are down, but we have this huge staff. I understand totally what he's saying. I respect it. But it also tells me that if we don't say we're doing this and cutting it out completely, that we're going to say, well, we got some coming in, so we don't have to work as hard. I think that we need to really, like I said, once a month, be going over something in the budget, one section of it, every single month, and all of us working together to pull it down and sharpen our pencils as much as we can. We're not doing anything until here we are 1 or 2 months ahead of pulling the trigger. And we've not really dug in where we need to. And I think there's a lot of things that we could cut. And like I say, there's money we have to spend and we need to increase things. But there's a lot of things that we could sit down, sharpen pencils on. And I don't care if it's nickel and dime or not, nickel and dimes add up. That's it.
Okay, if nothing else, can we roll call vote?
Butch.
Go ahead, Roger. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So in all the years I've been on this board, I think four or five times I have voted for a 0% increase. And at this point, I now realize my mistake in voting for that 0% increase. The fact that I voted for a 0% increase has put us in a position financially of where we are right now. In the future, but if we were to actually go and do a 0% or refuse to raise the tax rate, in the future, what you're seeing now is just going to get multiplied. And whenever we get to that point, okay, now granted, I'm not going to be on the board, but at that point, you're going to see some real issues. So those of you that are planning on being there, keep in mind that a 0% increase equals in the future more headaches and a lot more difficulty in dealing with the budget. It's been said that we don't know what's going on with the federal dollars. Okay, I understand that. The thing is, because we don't know what's going on with the federal dollars, all of that is going to get reverted back to us, the local district, and also the state. And we know how well the state enjoys funding education. They don't. So that will put a greater impact on what you guys plan on doing in the future. I know it sounds horrible, and honestly, I don't like looking at a raise either. But because of what I've done in the past, I've realized that that money is no longer on the table, and we aren't able to actually do a lot of the things that we wanted to do. So I would say that I'm not thrilled with the 3.55, but at the same time, you know, if you're gonna try and pass a zero budget increase, that's not going to do any good. A 1.78, since nobody really has the stomach to do the 3.55, 1.78 would be a good compromise, even though I agree that we should be doing the 3.55, because if we don't, boards in the future are going to have to possibly go all the way to the index just to be able to keep the district running. Just keep that in mind.
Thank you, Roger.
That's all I got to say, Butch. Thanks.
Dr. Redmond, you had something to say?
Yeah, just a real, so that the board is aware and the community is aware, the way the state builds its funding model for school districts is an assumption that the school districts will make small and continuous raises on their local property taxes. I know it's not what we want. It's not what we want to see. I would really rather our state pick up that part of it, but their budget is built on the assumption that the local school districts are making those small and regular increases. So the board's going to make whatever decision you're going to make, and that's your job to make it, but understand that the expectation from the state legislature and the Pennsylvania Department of Education is that there's a continual responsibility for the local education agencies to raise taxes by a small amount, but every year.
If nothing else, we have a roll call vote. A reminder that a yes vote is for a zero increase. A no vote is opposing the zero increase. So, roll call vote, please.
Dr. Baldino?
Yes.
Butch, would you repeat that, please? I can't
yes
hardly
vote.
hear you.
Butch, by Robert's rules,
Speak closer to your
supposed to
microphone,
read
please.
the motion. Why don't we do that this time? Because it's a little complicated.
Mr. Scott made a motion to approve a budget with a zero tax increase. Ms. Lynch seconded.
So Tom, a yes vote is for a zero tax increase. So,
A yes vote is for a zero tax increase.
correct.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes, I want a 0% increase.
Ms. Donahue,
No.
Mr. Elling,
No.
Mr. Johnson,
No.
Mr. Knopf,
No.
Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith? No.
So it's 5-4.
Correct.
So now I need a motion to give directions to Joni and Dr. Redmond. We have another motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead, Roger.
I'd like to make a motion to raise the tax to the 1.78 mils.
Percent.
So we have a motion to go to 1.78%. Do we have a second?
I'm sorry, may I clarify just to make sure I understand? So is your intent to raise the current property taxes by 1.78 mils?
No.
Okay.
My
Percent.
intent is to bring it to, the administration wants the 3.55. I think we should at least raise it to the 1.78.
So a raise of 1.78.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to increase 1.78 the millage increase. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and second. Do we have any discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote, please.
I would just like to make the statement that since you are planning on not being here, Roger, why are you even concerned with whether we raise it or not? It's very telling as far as I'm concerned.
That's out of order.
I believe, Tom, it's our job as a sitting school board member to vote on this budget. Whether he's going to be here in November or not is yet to be seen. So as of now, he is your sitting school board member. It's his duty and responsibility to vote on this budget. Okay,
Vote yes.
roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cannon,
No, I'm against that.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf,
Yes.
Ms. Lynch,
No.
Mr. Scott,
No.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Dr. Baldino?
No.
4 no's, 5 yeses.
So the motion passed for the direction of to give to the business office is to proceed with a 1.78 millage increase. Okay, moving on. I guess next would be resolution 156 to commit funds to capital projects. We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Roger. Any questions?
Much needed.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oppose.
Sounds like it's 8-1, motion passes. Next up, we have out-of-state field trip for the Bucktail students.
Motion.
Senior class. We need a
Motion,
motion.
can I make a motion on 3 and 4 and 5?
I'd like to pull 5 if you would. You can do
Okay.
the rest of the agenda, but I'd like to pull 5.
Okay, I would make a motion that we pass the rest of it except for number 5.
Just all of G except for 5.
Yes,
Oh, just all of G.
all of J.
All of, so we have a motion on
Or
the
G,
floor.
I'm sorry.
We have a motion on the floor to pass.
Wait a minute.
motion to
Point of
approve
order.
G 2, 3, no, I'm sorry, G 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, no, I'm sorry, 5 is pulled. So 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do we have a second?
And
I'll second that.
you have a point of order?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there's, what about number 11? That isn't
Yeah,
something we
that's what I
should
just said.
gob
number
with
11.
the others.
That one
That should be pulled also, yes.
Okay.
All right. So it's,
Need roll call.
it's,
Could
3
you,
through 10 with the exception of 5.
5, yes.
All
So
right.
we were pulling, of all the G through
Already
11,
did.
we're pulling
Two.
5 and 11. Do we have a second? I think
Second.
Roger did, right?
Roger.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on any of that?
can Christine read that back, please?
So Mr. Scaff made a motion to approve all of G with the exception of G5 and G11, and Mr. Elling seconded the motion.
Yes,
Thank you.
Mhm.
okay. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf,
Yes,
Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scaff,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Ms. Donahue.
Yes.
Motion carries.
she passed. The motion's already passed. So we're gonna move on to G5. We have a motion for G5, the transportation contract. I need a motion for G5.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Polly. Do we have a second to approve G5?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
You wanted it pulled. Was there a reason?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
So, has the parent signed this contract yet?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, how can we approve?
So should we wait till the parents to approve it before we approve it?
I actually think that, we should hold that till the end of the meeting and go into a very short executive session on it.
So we have a motion at it now and a second to do it. What we're gonna need then is a motion. Oh, I guess we'll have to defeat that motion.
Could we
We'll have a
ask them
motion.
to resign on their,
We'll have to have a motion to table
repull
it.
it, to
No,
table
just-
it
We
till,
can move to
Table it.
move it, table it, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, we need to
And
discuss
we can, that
something
takes
on it.
precedence and we can, you know,
Could the motion be rescinded?
That's what I'm.
yeah,
at.
we can do that too.
Rescind
That's
that
what I
motion.
would-
rescind the motion.
Okay. So now we just need a motion to table this.
I'll make a motion to table it till the end of the meeting for executive session.
Do we have a second
Second, sorry, second.
discussion? So, guess I have a discussion. I don't know if tabling to the end of our meeting would be sufficient. I think if it's gonna be tabled, it probably should be tabled to our next meeting. And we can discuss it at executive session and then vote on it at our next meeting, is my opinion. So,
I agree with Butch. I think that there's just too many things that I'm not clear on with that. And I think that it needs to be, especially if it hasn't been approved by the parents, that we need to hold it till next time.
Okay,
that's my
well,
thought. I
let's
think it
table
has-
it till the
then-
next work
Fresh
session.
eyes.
I think
And
it
have
has,
an executive
That's
meeting
good, Jeff.
before.
Yeah.
I think it has to be approved by the parents before we approve it.
Right.
So that's why
Exactly.
I'm waiting. I would like to see us table it to the next meeting, but your motion was to table it.
Well, we can,
Okay, I'll rescind that motion.
Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
go ahead, he wants to, we're doing it
I'll
that way.
rescind that
works.
motion and remake the motion that, like Jeff said, we wait till the next meeting so that we can have an executive session, maybe even invite the parents in.
Okay, so we have a motion to table G5. Do we have a second to table G5?
Second.
Now that is discussion, Bill, do you have anything or?
No,
Okay, so no discussion on G5? All those in favor of tabling G5 signify by saying
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carried. Motion carried. Okay, G11. Need a motion to approve
I'll make
G11.
that motion.
There's a motion. We have a motion for G11. Do we have a second for G11?
Who are we expelling and where are we
That's
voting?
Second.
That's the one we discussed before.
We have a motion and
When did we
second. Do we have any
discuss last
discussion on G11? Elizabeth, do you have any discussion?
I don't know who, what we're talking about here.
It's the student that the board most recently heard a presentation about. Executive.
Could you refresh my
Executive session.
memory?
Not in the open session, I can't.
We were executive session.
The one we watched.
Any other discussion on this? G11? If not, roll call vote, please.
What?
Mr. Johnson,
It's the fight?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Knoll,
Yes.
Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Dr. Baldino?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Ms. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Elling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, motion passed. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve H?
I'll make a motion, we approve H 1 through 7.
So we have a motion to approve H 1 through 7.
I'll second.
I second that.
We have a second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion on
He
H
beat you
1
to
through?
it, Roger.
Any discussion on 1 through 7? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed. Under I, business. Can I get a motion to approve I?
I'd like to pull 6, please.
We need a motion first. Have a motion to approve I,
I make a motion to approve I, except for any items pulled.
1 through 6, except.
Second it.
We have a motion to pull or to do I through 6 without the following of items pulled. A motion and second, discussion,
Item pulled. 6.
I6. Anything else? So we have a motion to approve I 1 through 5. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Wait for Tom. Opposed?
I oppose.
It'll be 8-1. We need a motion for I6, elementary playground equipment.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Second by Polly. Any discussion? Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. This has been, I'll just touch on it again, refresh everyone's memory. All of our other school districts use natural wood chips. It doesn't appear to be an exceptional hardship on our maintenance crew facilities to maintain it since it's only used a few months out of the year. I've asked you to consider looking and Googling the artificial mulch, in particular microscopic plastics, airborne plastics, and health issues. I'm not sure why one school would be any different from any other school and why we would want our children to be exposed to an artificial plastic when they play in it. So I fully support equipment for schools. That's not the issue. The issue is, let's keep it consistent. Just keep the wood mulch and amend the contract to get rid of the rubber mulch. So I'm not sure how we can do this because I don't want to vote no for playground equipment, but I will never support our children playing in plastic. So how can we do this?
So we'll wait to see what happens with this motion first. Any other questions or comments?
I do want to say that, oh, sorry, was someone else going?
Go ahead, Polly.
I just want to say that whenever, I know when my oldest daughter was in elementary school at Liberty Curtin, the PTO was the ones that came and spread the wood mulch. It was not the school district. And it is not easy to find many volunteers all the time.
Anyone else have any comments?
Yes, I agree with Elizabeth. This rubber plastic mulch is a known carcinogenic. Do we really want to expose our children to that?
Thank you, Tom. Chris?
We're looking at it, rubber mulch and wood mulch. It has on here, the rubber says it does not retain water or attract mold. Well, if the sunlight can't get to what's on the bottom to dry it out, there's gonna be mold, whether it's mulch or rubber. I agree with, not exposing our kids to that. And if we're talking about cost, we're looking at $26,442 for rubber, $7,095 for kids. I think in all interest, since we're really looking at curtailing a budget, the $7,095 is the way to go for the wood mulch.
Butch.
Go ahead, Roger.
Okay, so what I'm looking at is what Chris just said. We're looking at a cost of $26,442 for 10 to 20 years. We're looking at $7,095 for 1 to 2 years. So let's say 10 to, we'll go with the 10, okay? Take the 10, every 2 years, that wood needs to be replaced. The total cost for that would be $35,475 at the rate that this is rated right now. However, later on, as we all know, inflation hits, that's going to go up. So what we're looking at is $26,442 versus $35,475. We're talking about cost. We're talking about the budget. Yes, you're putting out a little bit more, but in later years, that's going to save money. So there again, I'm looking down the road to try and put this out.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I, first of all, highly doubt that a company would be offering any kind of material that is going to be harmful to kids, especially playground equipment that's going to be used by elementary kids. I have overseen elementary playgrounds, and what I do know with wood chips and mulch, they get kicked out, it gets thrown all over the place, and you end up with mud underneath these playgrounds, this playground equipment. And you're constantly, as Roger said, you're going to be constantly replacing this every year, or at least every other year. And I just think if you're going to do something in the first place, you're building a new building, for heaven's sakes, do it right. This is, from a cost standpoint, I just think I just think that you just need to go with the recommendation, with what they're going to do.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm working back to you.
Oh,
Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead.
So again, we constantly hear how we care about our children and all of that, and yet we are fighting, we're putting dollar figures over our children because this is a known carcinogenic. Jeff, if you look it up, you will see that this is not healthy for children. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but until you actually do the research, you will live in a fantasy world. So, I always hear the grandstanding, the soapbox talking about how everything we should do for the children. This is something we should do for the children, and we're not. I know I'm completely against spending more money, but these kids' health is more important than money. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else before I get back to Elizabeth? Elizabeth,
Thank
you
you.
got the floor.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication. The mulch doesn't get all dug up every year and then they come in with all fresh mulch. It's just, they rake it and they top dress it. I've seen them do it around the schools. So I just wanted to help folks to understand that. I don't know how deep they, go when they top dress it before school starts, but it doesn't seem like it's an incredible effort for when the facilities comes through, but it's just my observation. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Chris?
Mr. Johnson made the comment that they kick it out and it's gotta be replaced. Wouldn't they also kick out the rubber mulch?
Yeah, it's gonna have to.
But in all honesty, like Tom said and Elizabeth said and I said, the health of the kids is more important. They're gonna be falling down face first in some of this stuff. We grew up without any mulch at all, most of us. All we had was hard grass.
I had asphalt in our playground.
So that's it, Butch.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve this equipment list as presented. So, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Lynch,
No,
Mr. Scott,
No.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Dr. Baldino,
No.
Mr. Cannon,
No.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf,
Yes.
4 no's, 5 yeses.
Okay, moving right along. I get someone to make a motion to approve J, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve J1 and 2, unless anything is pulled for separate
We have a
consideration.
motion to approve J1 and 2. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from by Jeff for J1 and 2. Any questions on J1 and 2?
On J2. I think the Personnel Committee has, Tracy, Jeff and Bill did a good job on that. Those people that, from the fire companies, the fire police and that, how long has it been since they've had a raise?
Over 10 years.
Oh, it's longer than that. I think it's probably back to the 90s.
Okay, so it's back to the 90s. Those guys put in a lot of time and effort for training and everything. I think they fully deserve it. Thank you for doing what you did.
no, and thank you, Tracy, for bringing that to the attention and putting it
Go
on
ahead,
the agenda.
Elizabeth, you have
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
floor.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Tracy and Dr. Redmond, however you worked it out and put it on your personnel committee agenda and did this. I fully support it 120%.
Okay, any other discussion on the event security staff? If not, we have a motion to approve J1 and 2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Oppose.
We have one opposed, in opposition. Okay, so it passes 8-1. Do we have a motion to approve K, please?
I'll make a motion that we
We have a-
approve K 1, 2, and 3.
We have a motion to approve K1, 2, and 3. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on K1, 2, and 3? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Motion passed 9-0. L1. We have a motion for L1.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Elizabeth, second by Chris for L1. Any discussion on L1?
Yes.
We'll start with Chris.
There's a lot of controversy going on around this. My phone and emails have been blown up. First off, I want to make it clear that this decision has nothing to do with our safety and security meeting. The personnel department came up with this. They did their research, they did their homework. I have it here. And where we have a lot of disagreements, Tracy and Jeff and us all know it, we've had disagreements over the years. I want to say this is one raise that I believe is totally justified. I think Bill, Jeff, and Tracy did their homework on this. We need to be able to attract new officers for ones that are looking at retiring. And to be able to do that, to get totally certified armed police officers, we need to be competitive with the wage. What you guys did here, we're still under a lot of places that surround us, but I know our officers and talking to them are being told that they can go elsewhere and work a lot more. And I respect these guys for hanging in here and doing the job they do every day, because John Q. Public does not see truly how tough it is. We've saw it. So I want to say, for once, I'm not going to argue with you guys. I'm going to say good job and thanks for doing it.
Okay, anyone else? Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I totally agree. Ditto, ditto, ditto. But this is what I'd like to share. And Dr. Redmond, it's up to you. After our
It's
policy,
up to me, but go ahead.
well, you'll understand in a minute.
Go ahead.
After our policy committee meeting, Justin Evie, HR, and I had a very casual conversation about this. And he explained it to me better than I was able to explain it to a friend of mine who was yelling at me about it because you're putting raises in. So, Dr. Redmond, if you would like to explain the rationale and the research that the personnel committee did, or however you folks want to do it, but I thought it was explained beautifully, so.
I believe that our HR department did a good job of comparing other surrounding districts and looking at what a reasonable rate was. And I think that the solution that HR presented to the personnel committee fits very well. Mr. Evie, I don't know if you want to add to that.
I didn't even know he was back there, sorry. Oh,
Yeah, I am here,
you're
Chris.
hiding.
So just to kind of recap, so we did look at a lot of different schools, and to keep in mind, our officers are officers. They are sworn officers. They are armed, and they write citations. They have arresting powers. A lot of people confuse our officers with what used to be school security, where they dress the part, but they were not officers. So we have true police officers with arresting powers. And when we looked at all the region, we were the lowest paying school district for our officers. And they are also, to keep in mind, they are the only individuals that in their role, they are to use deadly force in those situations to keep us safe. There is no one else that has that responsibility. So when I think of safety and I think of what we have retired troopers that work for us, which we're fortunate. We also have another officer that is canine trained. So we have some special talent that is here that's unique to us. So I think just a lot of people confuse with their own experience of security, or, I don't want to say rent-a-cop, but that's what a lot of people associate the police with. But we have true police officers. So again, I don't think that we can put a dollar amount on safety, but they are the ones that when we have a situation, their job is to be that first line of defense.
Thank you. I applaud you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else have any other? I'd just like to make one comment, one short one. I know there's been a lot of disinformation spread on some popular websites around the area, listing incomes and prices and cost analysis that, as usual, not totally correct. I know I looked at a state trooper that I know was compared with 9 years of service, who's making roughly 100 and some thousand a year. with all their benefits, which are actually a lot better than our school officers' benefits. So I'd like to commend the officers we have, thank them for doing an excellent job, and remind everybody, like Justin said, these people are our first line of defense, and they're out there every day protecting our students at the sacrifice of themselves, as we saw tonight with Officer
Right.
Bryant. We know what happened to him. We were fortunate to have him there that day, and fortunate to still have him with us today. So I want to thank them all for doing their job and being here for the students of Keystone Central. So if there's no other comments, I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead,
just want to
Bill.
agree with
Bill,
what you.
Roger,
Let
hold on.
Roger go. Let Roger
Bill
go.
has
He's
the
there.
floor. The second, Roger. Go ahead, Bill.
This is a tough one for me, okay? I think that, we're at the bottom right now of everybody in the area. These guys do a tough job. Clearly, we saw some videos a couple of weeks ago that shows how tough their job can be. And I think they deserve a raise. By the same token, I've been arguing heavily about cutting costs. And I've had, again, this is another thing I've been lobbied about heavily with points either way, and so it's been bouncing back and forth in my life, in my mind. I think someone, and I don't remember, Justin, perhaps you remember, or Dr. Redmond, someone brought up it, or I think you were at the meeting, Jeff, too, right? When we talked about this in personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody brought up, well, we have to find $32,000, which is true. Just like to point out, we might want to revisit a $20,000 expenditure that, in my opinion, is a complete waste of money, and that will cut down on our expense of doing this by 2/3.
Is that Bill? Roger, you get the floor.
All right, thank you. I'd just like to say that I agree with what you said, Butch. I mean, I'm thankful for these guys, for what they do every day. And I would just like to say, as far as the policy committee goes, I think they did a super terrific job. And I'm glad to see that they're going to get what they finally deserve.
He means personnel. committee.
Personnel.
Or personnel, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you, Roger. Chris?
I'm with you 100%, Butch. We've been hounded and hounded and hounded for the last 2 years that I know of about safety. And when it concerns our kids and our staff, I'm the hardest one here on saving money and cutting cost. But there is no cost on safety and protecting our kids and staff. And that's all there is to it.
Okay. Can I have a roll call vote, please? If there's no other questions, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
No.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf,
Yes.
Ms. Lynch.
Yes.
8-1.
Yes, and 1 no.
Motion passes.
Do
Do
I
I
make a
hear a
motion to
motion for
adjourn?
M1? Motion to adjourn. All right, I want to thank everybody for this evening.
Good job.
I guess we'll see you back next Thursday.